Hello, hey guys, this is Steve. Hope you guys will like it. This one is Superior Iron Man number 4. Once again, Marvel presenting another good read time issue named The Choice. From the series Superior Iron Man 4, cover art presents a lot of things about the story within two covers, and here cover artist Mike Choi is very much successful to present a awesome cover art for this issue, and this is totally matching with the story. And as I told, this is very late, but I'm gonna do a page-to-page review from the issue. So the continuation from the incidents of Superior Iron Man shows us some more tricks here in Wake Up San Francisco. Guest is Tony Stark. So Stark is on the show to discuss about his Extremis 3.0 and its updates. He gives a wonder discount to the studio people. It's really awesome. They really cheer and applaud for it, and all the peoples are really happy. But something is happening. That is, after that he describes his new invention to keep always a good eye on the city, that is Ironside. This Ironside has everyone's data. It can track anyone anywhere in the city. Stark wants to stop crime, so he says if anyone commit crime, then he has no place to hide because Ironside is there. Daredevil Matt Murdock do not approve the idea of Ironside. He takes down one gadget, and this information is there on the database. On the other side at the show, Tony continues to demonstrate about the Ironsides that these things will hunt down the terrorists and every kind of threats in the city. That the some urgent, then at that point some urgent business comes up for Tony Stark. He quits the show for that session and he has to go somewhere, and went to his island workhouse where commandos try to capture Tony's new friend Teen Abomination. And Mario talks with Tony about this one because Teen Abomination is a fugitive kind of, that is a person, but Tony is escaping her, and that's why he just denies to hand over Teen Abomination to them, to Mariel. That's why they are really upset on Tony. But Tony here is not at all, because he is very happy with his Extremis 3.0 and Teen Abomination. That time he just said to Teen Abomination that he want to research on her, and after that he will try if he can cure her or not. At that time Matt Murdock comes in, so a few jokes or few gags are there, but Matt Murdock here comes for justice and he's not approving Tony Stark's ways. That's why, because Matt Murdock, the Daredevil, he knows that Tony's spreading some kind of virus in the water supply in San Francisco. That's why he came, because in San Francisco there's no sale of bottle. But at the time Daredevil wants to hit Tony, Teen Abomination comes and hit Daredevil, and he just fall out of the glass and goes towards the ground. That time Iron Man's new suit, that superior suit, comes in the air and captured Daredevil on the air. But at that time I thought he was just saving Matt Murdock, but this is really far better than that. Not better, it's worse than that, because he's really is so much obsessed with his powers right now. So he captured that Iron Man, Tony Stark, captured Daredevil, and he tries to research on him, and he just want to make his all memories gone. He wants to make his all memories gone. So Matt Murdock's all memories are right now gone, and he's in the hospital. He can't remember anything. It's too tough for him. But Tony Stark inside, he's happy. And that time Tony Stark says that this kind of brain injury, it can take a lot of time. It should be monitored by the doctors in the hospital. That's why. And as the things happen in Tony Stark's lobby or in his house, that's why Tony Stark's gonna cover all the medical expenses, but Matt Murdock is gonna keep in the hospital. It's a good thing for Tony Stark. So we got a really nice and good about this issue, and that's why I just have to say this cover page is totally depicted. And after that I'm gonna review some of the good artworks in this issue. I like this ones, and this one's really reflect the story of Superior Iron Man issue 4. This one's another that illustration, and and this illustrations is also cool. So all overall, it's been quite a far and good. So Superior Iron Man 4 draws a conclusion to Daredevil's issues with Iron Man Extremis. That is pretty much great. So hope you guys have enjoyed it, and this is my exclusive review. If you like it, just comment on it. I'm gonna do more and more. Have a great day. Hey guys, it's Steve and this is all new X-Men issue number 35. It's been a long time after 34, and here we go with the issue number 35. I have known that many of you guys like all new X-Men, and here I am with this one. And I started to read this one few issues back, and I really like it too because of the artwork style, and the full lot of action, and the story development. It's pretty cool, and it's not like any other kind of thing. It's not gibberish. It's well organized. So the time displaced X-Men's adventure in Ultimate Universe continues. The issue features a deeper look at how these X-Men interact with each other and finding out how different the two universes are as the story progresses. This review is on Good Kind of Geek, so the full credit goes to goodkindofgeek.com's this reviewer. So writer Brian Bendis does a wonderful job capturing the tones of these characters. The interactions between them are great and funny, and the downtime away from actions is really my favorite so far. It's especially funny when Angel found out his counterpart is already dead, and Ultimate Iceman furious at our Iceman for ruining his reputation. If anything, I would like to see this crossover event in a larger scale and more interactions between the two worlds. The flash forward narration is kind of out of place. It brings the readers right into the story, but at the same time it has me question if I missed an issue, or what it's also necessary to tease us Miles' fate at the beginning of this issue just to end the issue in the same way. It's kind of difficult to see what the purpose of the crossover really is. As Marvel is bringing both mainstream universe and Ultimate Universe to an end, it's possible this is Marvel's way to show us how Miles interacting to our mainstream characters will be like. Anyway, I can't wait to see what the story will bring us next and how it will possibly affect Secret Wars. So this is 8.5 out of 10. Good kind of gig given it, but in my way, I like the artwork and I like the story. These are all my likable. What I didn't like is sometimes the story just changes in a fraction of a second, in one time to another time, and one incident to another incident. That's what I didn't like. Sometimes it happens, not this issue and every time. So here we go with geeksunleashed.me. Here's the premise of Marvel's all-new X-Men 35. X-Men Team 1 meets X-Men Team 2. One team is in their respective world, the other has been displaced onto that earth. The lost team is rallying its members in hopes of getting back home under the leadership of Jean Grey. Both teams bicker and make cheesy jokes, and both teams are just as bland. There's just about two of every X character, so the story quickly becomes confusing, and once I figured things out, I realized that the plot was as Iceman's corny one-liners, while Dr. Doom plays mind games to force a young beast into discovering how to travel through the multiverses. The X teams pounce on Castle Down, and the rest is blah blah blah. There's just not much more to see here, which is a real shame. All New X-Men has consistently been a pretty strong title, so it varies depending on the reviewers. Here I am. This is with geeksunleashed.me. They have given it a really awful review, but what we see in nerdsontherocks.com, they have given it a 7 out of 7. Oh, what is this? Does that mean it's a full star? I don't know. Anyway, so this book has gorgeous artwork and vivid colors. This series started with the amazing Stuart Immonen and now has Mahmoud Asrar on duties. This book is always visually appealing. I love some of the banter between the characters in this issue, which is really one of Bendis' strong suits. A lot happens in these issues, and just when you think they're looking up for our time and space displaced heroes, things take a turn for the worst again. Ultimate Doctor Doom was an excellent choice for the villain of the story. This has been a really fun arc, and I love seeing Miles Morales interact with our 616 heroes. That's the pretty fun and cool thing. First this, then Spider-Verse. I have a feeling we will get even more when it comes time for Secret Wars. So hope you guys have enjoyed. This is almost the end of this issue, and if you enjoyed this issue review, just go to the store and buy this book. This will be a really cool thing while reading this book in this weekends. It will be fun and it will help the creators also to develop. So what is this end? This is the end of this issue, and now we have to wait for 36 because it's really getting interesting, and I love this artwork and I can't wait for that one. So I will seek for at least one preview page. So anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed it. Just go to the store and buy this book. And the important announcement I have given in my last video, also in Captain America and the Mighty Avengers issue number 4, that is, I'm gonna do my own full comic review very soon, maybe on this week. So have a great day. Hey guys, it's Steve, and this is for the first time I'm giving a review show of Black Widow series. Here we go with the Black Widow issue number 14, last week release, or should I say this week release? Yeah, this weekly release. So here we go with kill list of Black Widow. This is pretty much fun episode. I have to say, while doing this episode, I'm gonna enjoy this one because I like this Black Widow issue, and I never read it really before this one. Maybe some 1 or 2 comic I have read on 10 or 11 number issues, but here this 14 issue I really like it, so that's why I just decided to give a review video on this one in this channel. So if I get at least 5 likes on first day, I will continue this series from the next week also, or whenever it got released anyway. So here we go with the comicvine.com releases. This review is by Tony G. Man Guerrero on January 21, 2015. Oh, they're really fast. Anyway, so Black Widow has been targeted by an evil organization. Now she's turned the tables and is hunting down its members. How long have you been reading Black Widow appearances? We often take for granted the fact that she doesn't have any sort of superpower. She's always managed to hold her own when fighting alongside the Avengers and other superheroes. This series has been focusing more on who the character is and what she's really capable of, having recently been targeted by an evil organization going by the name of Chaos. Of course, Black Widow's life has been turned on its side, with her attorney and pretty much confident shot and some of her Black Ops activities publicly revealed. Black Widow has had to move off the radar. This has allowed her to formulate a plan to get back at Chaos. With some intel she managed to obtain in her own special way, she's now taking the fight to those that started it. That's where the action and suspense comes in. Nathan Edmondson has taken a mainstream Marvel character and is giving up a story that really feels self-contained. We know she's Deadly Spy, but the way Edmondson and Phil Noto are depicting her strategy and actions really hammer it home. She will do what it takes to achieve her goals, and despite the use of weapons and explosions, it never feels scratches, or should I say, like, never feels that is no. It's always convincing anyway, so just kill the shit anyway. So the same can be said for Noto's depiction of Natasha. She wears a skin-tight black suit, but it looks more like a practical outfit rather than the opportunity to show some skin on a female character. Edmondson and Noto show that we can have a female lead series without having to rely on cheap tactics to try to appease male readers. It reads as if you could have a male or female in the role, but it is pretty fantastic to see Natasha kicking so much butt. I really like it. Then when we don't have to use, or they don't have to be using comic on cheap strategies or something, like showing the body of this lead role, or if it's female or something. I really like it when they don't have to do it and they can just be with the story and with the actions and with the story, that concept and with the appearances of the lead role. That is the make the show fun. That was the make the show fun. So the bad things about this one, the series has consistently kept me glued. There's nothing to complain about. A second trade containing issues 7 to 12 plus Punisher issue number 9 has been released today, so you can catch up if you have been missing out of the on the fun. So the verdict from this issue: Black Widow is not a character you want to mess around, but with Nathan Edmondson and Phil Noto are showing us exactly what she is made of. With an evil organization targeting her, she's turning the table around and taking the fight to them. The results are glorious moments showcasing what she can do. Each of these 14 issues have consistently delivered great story and art. It's not often a series can maintain this kind of momentum. Black Widow is a series everyone should be reading. So just after this review and after this story, reading this story, I decided to collect all the Black Widow issue up to issue number 13, and I'm gonna read them. And if you guys like this one, I will upload those practical, that page-to-page review also upcoming days. Hope you guys will have fun. So the hunt for chaos may turn all of Natasha's friends against her in Black Widow 14. This review from, who is this, Imagine Cubed? Yes, the nerdsunchained.com. They have given this review. So okay, this moment just came, the Invisible Man moment, and this is really cool. In this, the ending of this series and ending of this issue, and it's really fun, well depicted, well illustrated. That's what is really good. In Munson uses all the tools of Natasha at Natasha's disposal as her violent quest brings her to Chaos' doorstep. While the character has always been known for her skills as an assassin and spy, she's acting completely without restraint in this issue, tossing contents out of planes and torturing target with a nail gun. Natasha pulls no punches. That is pretty cool. So this is for my score. It's 9 out of 10. I'm really like it. I have really like it. Hope you guys will enjoy it too. Just go to the store and buy this book. You can enjoy this weekend with the awesome comic book. This will help the creators also by buying this book. And so don't waste any time. Enjoy this day. Enjoy the weekend and share it. Hey guys, it's Steve and this is Captain America and the Mighty Avengers issue number 4. So here we go with Adventures and Pure Taste in PureTaste.com. This review is given by Jordan Richard. So first of all, I'm gonna say I got 3 questions, and I'm really thankful to them because I think they're a really good friend of mine. Anyway, so I will do the question and answer review session later anyway. So here we go with this Captain America new issue and the Avengers kind of thing anyway. So here we go with this review. I'm not gonna waste not much of time, so it's time to celebrate, folks. Why is that? Because Captain America and the Mighty Avengers is no longer tied into Axis and is finally given a chance to spread its wings. What happens now in the latest issue? Is it good? So after the events of the inversion, the public has a bit of a mixed response to Sam Wilson in his Captain America role, as well as the role of plenty of other heroes. Of course, that's to be expected, considering everything Sam and his Avengers did, and it's eating him up a lot on the inside. Meanwhile, some shady and rather unnerving things are going on with Cortex. This issue acts as an epilogue to the Axis-Time arc, focusing on the characters after all of the craziness has died down and what they are going to do next. It also follows up on some of the brewing plot points we have seen developing with Cortex as well, which seem to be heading in a rather dark and creepy direction. Heck, it's far darker than any of the previous issues or the previous Mighty Avengers comic. However, the real important thing about this comic is the fact that honestly it's pretty good. Yes, after such a mediocre and underwhelming line of issues, things feel much better now. The story is getting interesting. The way the comic handles the fallout from Axis is rather good. Heck, one of my bigger issues with the first issue was cleared here, and the characterization is great. Sure, the fallout is dealt with rather quickly and it almost felt rushed, but I'm glad we are moving past that and getting back to focusing on our characters and their storylines. The only thing I'm concerned about is the darker direction the comic seems to be heading in with what is happening with Cortex. Honestly, Captain America and the Mighty Avengers has proven to be at its best when the story is fun or bringing character-focused storylines and not being overly grimdark. Hopefully through, though I am proved wrong and everything turns out to be good. Anyways, the writing by Al Wing is pretty solid like you would expect. The characterization is very strong and fits everyone, especially with Sam and how he is dealing with everything that has happened. The dialogue and narration are pretty solid with plenty of good and even chilling lines. The pacing is solid, the story flows well from scene to scene, and most of the storylines have a lot of potential to grow in interesting directions. Like I said, I'm a bit concerned with the dark tone building in the background, but otherwise the writing here is excellent and is finally getting it to shine once again. The artwork sadly is more problematic the artwork is split up between Luke Ross and Ilban Coelho, and their styles together don't go well. Ross has a more realistic and grittier style that does fit the book and the tone, in particular the scenes with Captain America and the final shots of the book. However, Ilban's style is very much cartoony and brighter looking, which doesn't fit the issue as well. Luckily, Ilban's style isn't used during the darker scenes because it really wouldn't fit them at all. Anyhow, neither style is bad, but they don't end up working well together. Hopefully the next arc picks one artist and sticks with him or her. I would like the book to have some consistent artwork. So overall, it will be pretty great. Did I say just gay? Oh my god, that is shit. Anyway, so is it good? Captain America and the Mighty Avengers issue 4 feels like a much needed step in the right direction for the title. Having finished with Axis, the comic now gets to focus more on its characters, its own stories, and what it wants to do. The comic feels less constricted now, and it's all for the better. While the comic needs one solo artist at this point, the writing and handling of the fallout of the previous arc were just plain well done. Hopefully things continue to get better for the comic as it continues to move forward. So overall, it get a 8 out of 10 overall score. Some pros, some cons on there, and according to Adventures in Poor Test.com, that is AIPT, they have always given like this kind of thing, that pros and cons. What they have given in pro: no more Axis tie-in, the epilogue was great, strong writing and characterization, and the concept, the darker direction may not be right for the comic. The two different artists, while fine on their own, don't mesh well together. So hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's after a 2-3 days gap, and I know it's been pretty much sad when I don't upload videos. Hope you guys will have fun with this video, and lots of are coming. And the main important announcement will be that on upcoming some issues, I'm gonna do my own review, that is full comic review. Hope you guys will enjoy, so have fun. I need your comic and I need your comments. Yes. Hey guys, happy Saturdays. Hope you guys enjoying your weekend. Here is something to spice you up in your weekend. Here is the issue of Fantastic Four 642. This is season 642 kind of thing anyway. So here we go with amazing review from comicvine.com. Matt Inferiorego L. Fraying. So the Invaders and Fantastic Four team up. The good things about this one, Fantastic Four is coming to an end, and sadness grows in my heart. Luckily, we are getting some fantastic issues that seem to be naturally wrapping up, as opposed to quickly forced out books that conclude all the stories. There's a lot going in this issue as well as the series, but what readers are given is dynamite storytelling from James Robinson, Leonard Kirk, Carl Kessel, Jesus Aborto, and Clayton Coles. This is inking isn't always something talked about unless it's rough or just plain bad, but Carl Keswick's ink work this book is great. I love how he heavenly outlines the characters to make them pop off the page, but it's not to have where it becomes overly apparent. Together with Leonard Kirk and Jesus Aborto, this team is unstoppable. Seriously, Kirk's art is gorgeous and consistent. There's this balance of good and evil that is played with throughout the series, and the scales tip a little here as Bentley does something good because it feels good. There is a brilliant moment, and that artist Leonard Kirk nails out of the park, where whether Wizard approves of what his son is doing, and while Bentley seems pleased at first, there's the follow-up panel showing remorse. Kirk nails facial expressions every time, and strangely enough, following Bentley's journey in this series was something that became extremely gratifying. How does James Robinson stay on one step ahead of my brain while John Eden is talking to Reed Richards, who is a bit tied up? Eden lays out his whole plan to Reed, and this is happening, I can't help but think this dude is a Bond villain. He's laying out the whole plot and Reed is going to stop him. Moments later, Eden says this: I'm not a spy movie villain, divulging my plans in detail ahead of time so you can prevent them. Get out of my head. Since I started reviewing this book, one thing I have said over and over again is that I love how Robinson forges a connection to Marvel's past in this series, mainly the 80s and 90s. I'm not going to flat out spoil the final page, but I will say I'm so excited to see the person on the final page, and that's one thing Robinson has been nailed on on this series. He keeps the reader invested in what's coming next. The guy really knows how to put together a solid cliffhanger. The bad things from this one is from personal experience. This issue, while this series is good but reads better in trade. The series does have a lot going on from month to month, and at times it can be a bit much to keep up with it all. A lot of those stories start to come to a head here, and some of it will make you want to go back and reread a lot of the series, which is both a good and a bad thing. This is not on the creative team but more on Marvel. Please don't put the issue numbers on the bottom of the book. It makes it hard to find the issue in your short long boxes later down the road when you want to reread it. The verdict from this issue is Fantastic Four is the best it has been in quite some time. James Robinson pours a lot of love and creativity into this book and gives the readers some great stories that connect to the history of Marvel rather than trying to forget it all exists. It may be ending, but this book has not slipped in quality at all. Sure, there can be almost too much going on story-wise, but it's all good. I highly recommend checking out this series and catching up before it all ends, because I do really like it, and sometimes it feels me that it's fun to read this kind of issues. And from comicbookresources.com, they have given it also positive review about this one. So this is kind of that beyond scripting a high octane story, Robinson's next best achievement in his portrayal of Sue, who has been building her own story over the past several years. That's been nice. So which culminates here in a powerful moment as fed up Mama Bear Sue strikes out at everyone who has invaded her home and endangered her children. However, Robinson makes a blatant swipe at this classic Watchmen that he makes no real attempt to conceal. It's a pretty glaring distraction to anyone who knows that story, but Robinson's own story recovers from it quickly enough. So hope you guys have enjoyed it. Next one is coming very soon, The Sweet Dreams of Franklin Richards. So hope you guys have enjoyed, and as usual, if you wanna enjoy this issue, what in my way you should, so go to the store like me and just buy it book or borrow it from someone. It is pretty much cool and it will worth it $3.99, so buy it. Hello guys, this is Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 23 review, and here I am, Steve. Hope you guys will enjoy this one. And how is your weekend? Tomorrow it will be again Monday, I know, but before that, enjoy the Sunday. And before bedtime, you should read this review or just check out this review. It'll be fun before just sleeping and before just resting for today's anyway. So hope you guys will enjoy this one. So here we go with this Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 23 from comicvine.com review. This is by Matt Inferiorego. Okay, so the Guardians finally make it to the planet of the symbiotes. The good things about this one, the Guardians make it to the planet of the symbiotes finally. So let's get the obvious right out of the way. Venom's new look is awesome and completely fitting for a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. What's the best thing about it? There's a Guardians logo on his shoulder. Okay, that's not the best thing, but it may be my favorite thing. What is really cool about it is that it fits the team he's on and the fact he's in space where he's wearing a symbiote spacesuit, and it's awesome. Valerius Kitty and colorist Justice Kid doing an awesome job in this issue. They've given the reader bits and pieces of what this world looks like in an uncharted part of space, and it's very alien. Even for all the things we have seen in the cosmic part of the Marvel universe, the art provides this fun yet dark tone to this book, and Kid is doing a wonderful job with colors and shading. Especially here, the art is easily the best part of this book, followed closely by the way Brian Michael Bendis writes these characters interacting with each other, which is fun and very enjoyable. The bad things about this one, in the 3-part Planet of the Symbiote story, the Guardians get to Said Planet during the 3rd part, and man, does it feel rushed. Conceptually, this was something that needed to be explored within all of Marvel's lore, and it feels completely like a throwaway moment. From there, the issue tries to completely change everything that is everyone knows about the symbiotes within 3 pages of backstory about what the symbiotes are, and the Guardians just come to accept it all, and the readers is also expected to as well. The issue rushes the reader through all of this so it can move forward into the Black Vortex Next month, by the end of this issue, the reader will be completely unsatisfied with everything about this story except for the fact that Flash Thompson as Venom somehow looks even cooler, which I didn't think would be possible. But all in all, we still don't know much about the inhabitants of this planet. Sure, they lay out their mission in a large information dump, which is a tad that is aggravating in itself, but this is a completely underwhelming story, and it shouldn't be. This should be a cool standout moment for this book and Marvel, not just a story that gives Dude a new costume. The verdict from this one, as the planet of the symbiotes closes up, it was easily one of the stories I was most excited for this year and one of the biggest letdowns of the year. We get some great art on Venom in a cool new costume, which actually makes him fit on the team a whole lot better, but that's about it, because there's not much of really difference in this thing, because sometimes it may look cool but sometimes it may do not look cool. And here is it, this dinosaur, see the Venom dinosaur, it reminds me of the Transformers Age of Extinction. What's the character names? I forgot that shit. Anyway, so that kind of dinosaur, this facial and this thing. So IGN.com review is quite a bit very bad about this one, because they have given it 4.8 for that. Remarks is very disappointing, following it around about, but that would leave even the family circus belief feeling turned around. Issue 23 culminates in the info dump, all info dumps. Bendis detailing the entire history of the symbiote Clanter in just a few meandering splash pages. Such presentation isn't so bad at all things considered, but given the weeks of build-up to get to that point and the lighting force set up to get past it, the very telling of the story feels almost completely unnecessary. Bendis then tries to give Flash Thompson some added depth, but given that Flash spent pretty much the entire arc either unconscious or raging mindless, his sudden moment of ascension that is pretty feels woefully out of place. At least the new costume is cool. So this was a story that I wanted to be great, and it wasn't. If it weren't for the art, this would be rated a bit lower. Disappointed and aside. If you want to see how Venom gets his new suit, saddle up, otherwise keep it out on this one. So hope you guys will enjoy this one. If you guys want to enjoy it, just go to the store and buy this book. You will enjoy about the disappointment, or the artwork is pretty cool. That is the thing. So in this last page there is a twist. That's it. So have a great day. Nothing much. Hey guys, it's Steve. This is Injustice Gods Among Us, Year 3, Chapter 17. This is Assault on the Tower, so you can guess what is gonna be in the Assault on the Tower, but it's been a really pretty much happy. I'm really happy to read from this one. I really enjoyed this one. I hope you guys will enjoy, and if you wanna enjoy the full comic, just go to the store, means online DC store, and buy this book. This will be a great fun wherever you can like it, and you can read it anyway. So Batman's base has been discovered by Superman's forces. Good luck dealing with the Man of Steel, Bruce. So this review is given by comicvine.com Greg Katzman. So before Brian Bucleto unleashes some big action, this chapter opens with a storyline that many of us have been wondering about ever since it left us with an exciting cliffhanger. So because that time just Superman is really pissed off on Batman, so Batman is getting ready to give a big fight with his team against the Superman's team. Anyway, that's why he just prepares himself. Batman, he just prepares himself with strongest pills, or with just some energy increasing pills, and he just bang with the fight with Superman. And he says, he challenges Superman that Superman have strength but he has no skills, but this is unmatched power with Sinestro and this kind of peoples who are fighting, that Batwoman is also a no match for Wonder Woman. So this is pretty bad. Anyway, Batman should have think about them. So bad things about this one. After all the dark and twisted things that have happened in the first 2 volumes and even the earlier Year 3 issues, it's a little surprising to see what brings the fight to a pause. We just saw a character say he is now willing to do whatever it takes, and then they think one character's action earned okay in this battle just because the opponent wasn't ready for it. I understand the point is to show there's still some good in two of these leads, but given all they have encountered and done themselves, it felt a bit awkward to have the fight come screeching to a halt. After that incident, maybe if the line was crossed in a crueler and more vicious way, the responses would have felt more natural instead of totally hypocritical. So, as usual, after every time, as usual, that in every issue, we just started to get the rhythm from this issue, and it says to be continued. So I am thinking about every time when I just read these comics, I think about I will gather a lots of issues together, then I will read it, because it's really tense myself that I have to wait another 1 week. Anyway, the days go by very fast. And see, this is chapter 17. We started from earlier year 3. So here we go. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like and share it. Have a great day. Welcome you guys to Moon Knight issue number 11. Okay, so this week I'm doing a lot of reviews that I'm doing a lot of review shows that is for the first time, like Moon Knight and that Black Widow and I don't know what. And in quite of time I didn't done a review show of Fantastic Four, but this week I have done. It's after almost a 1 year. In the earlier stages, I have done some shows in the original series. But here we go with this one. So I hope it will go well. And if Moon Knight gets almost 10 likes in 2 days, I will continue this series. So hope you guys will enjoy this one. Here we go with the Moon Knight, and this review is given by nerdsonchain.com, that is Majin Cubed. So Brian Wood and Greg Smallwood plumb the unsure depths of Mark Spector's reason and remaining sanity in Moon Knight 11 as Spector finds himself held in captivity under the oppressive watch of masked guards, therapists and nurses. He is trapped within a sterile white prison in an unknown location, remanded there by his doctor. There his every moment monitored by his mysterious captors. Spector must reconcile his troubled relationship with Khonshu to overcome the trap his doctor has set up for him. Smallwood's tightly graded pages tell the story of Spector's descent into this cold and unforgiving hell. Time has no meaning as the days pass by. The small, sporadic windows of this prison, one room as empty and sterile as the next as Spector passes through them vacantly. Belies bold reds and oranges break up this alienating monotony with a sense of urgency or isolation based on their application. This well-executed balance of violence and stillness, action and inaction makes for a visually fascinating read from the first page to the last. Khonshu appears to confront Spector's failure to act, prodding him to confront his doctor, still angered by his abandonment by Khonshu. Spector has all but resigned himself to his captivity, resulting in another inmate getting the drop on him and stabbing him in the side. That is really scary. So these scenes between Spector and Khonshu are perfectly scripted, with tense pause dialogue exploring the strained that connection between Spector and the god whose aspect the wears. Some few awkward things there, some few good things there from this awkward. So anyway, they also further investigate the objective difference between Spector's that is vigilantism and his doctors, and the ethics they use to exact violence on those that deserve it. Spector is convinced of his purely sensible, rational, even in the face of his own unsure sanity, which raises even more questions in the face of his current circumstances. Moon Knight 11 is a tight, well-paced read that continues to raise interesting questions about morality, justice, and vigilantism. In the modern age, this thoughtful new direction Underwood has been very satisfying to watch unfold, and that is really kind of terrifying, or something totally different. That is really, work style is also different, and if you're not reading it, you are missing it. So score is 10 out of 10. I'm gonna give it. nerdsonchain.com has given it. The Fist of Khonshu we once know is no more. This is comicsgathering.com's review. Mark Spector is defeated, downtrodden, and now finally detained by the NYPD, or so it seems, after successfully threatening and attempting on an African dictator's life at the UN building. More lines are pretty blurred at this point. So all in all, Moon Knight is still a great read, and the very least, this issue doesn't at all detract from the series. I wish it had delivered more in terms of relating to the overarching plot, but hey, if we are this close to the end, but this issue is really cool and could potentially be the most significant one in the series. This issue could be potentially be the most significant. That's it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. This is Moon Knight issue number 11. Have a great day. Don't forget to share it, and if you enjoyed it, just leave a like. That will support me. And don't forget to buy this book if you want to enjoy this while reading this. This review is for the trailer only, so just buy this book and help the creators. Hey guys, it's Steve. This is Mortal Kombat X issue number 3 every week. This is a pretty much great issue, and this one really gives us a lot of entertainment before just Injustice Gods Among Us Year 3 comes. It's on Tuesdays, and no, it's Mortal Kombat comes on Monday and the Injustice on Tuesday or Wednesday. That is pretty cool. So here we go with the comic vine review for this one by Matt Infuriago. Okay, Takeda and Fox hold Scorpion hostage. This is a bad idea, very much a bad idea. So first of all, I have to tell you that Mortal Kombat X issue number 3, it's pretty much brutal, or it's a high level brutal. You can see the next screenshots, not the next, a few pages back, few pages after this one. So we are getting close to a point with a weekly digital comic where people are in for the long haul or have lost interesting. This is the point where people start wondering if they should keep on going, and luckily this issue delivers enough to make the average person keeping pushing forward. Story wise, it's a really solid issue, and we get a lot of emotional investment with everyone's favorite Skull on Fire, Scorpion, writer Sean Kettleson and artist Dexter Soy, with Veronica Gandini on colors give the reader a great look into a pivotal moment within Hanzo's life. While the moment the reader sees is actually more of a fever dream as Hanzo is tied up. We got to see the beginning of the feud between Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Also, we get to see Scorpion's head on fire, which looks really freaking awesome, but it totally reminds me of Ghost Rider, and that one is pretty much same. So Soy is doing an incredible job with the art here. Many times in a weekly digital series, the art isn't as good as most the monthly books you find in the stores, but here it's top-notch quality. Few bad things out there into this final couple of pages. For what is really a story focused around Scorpion, it's a solid lead into the next arc. To feels like those final pages rush at you a million miles an hour. So verdict about this one, I'm not surprised that Mortal Kombat X can hold the reader attention without failing them that feeling alienated due to the dense mythology and backstory that comes along with it. Kittleson is obviously a fan of this world and presents it to the reader in an easy to access way. So, and on top of that Soy and Gandini delivers some beautiful art too. If you were a fan of Mortal Kombat, there's no reason not to be reading this. It's only 99 cents and awesome, so you should buy it digitally, and you can read it on your tab and mobile or TV and PlayStation anywhere. So it will be pretty much cool, and it will support the developers also. So the next one is coming very soon, and we have to wait for another week. So till then, have a great week and enjoy the other issues and other comics. So hope you guys have a great reading. So don't forget to leave a like. Hey guys, it's Steve, and this is Raccoon issue 7. Yeah, I have just kept a really good some few issues in middle, so if you want it, just request it, and whenever I will get time, I will try my best to do those reviews. So anyway, we are checking in over Raccoon 7. This review is posted by, who's this? This is Randy Z. Okoa in We The Nerdy. Oh, am I right? With the Nerdy? Yeah, with the nerdy.com. So they're saying that we are off on our second arc of Raccoon, and it looks like Scott Young, Philip Andrade, and Jen Francois Belia are going to continue the emotional roller coaster that the first arc brought us. Rocket and Groot are the biggest space bros around. They do everything together, from sleeping to using Groot as kindling for a fire. We have seen the strength of their relationship, but I think something that's been lacking more recently is more personal tale of exactly how far into the danger zone they will go for each other. This issue we see the beginnings of that story as Rocket and Groot are stuck on an ice planet where Groot becomes terminally, and it's up to Rocket to find the only hope of a cure. The side of Rocket is we are seeing here is a bit different than the psycho, that murdering rodent we usually see elsewhere. He's still as crazy as ever, but you can really see that craziness is a sort of that detriment to things here. This doesn't look like it'll be a situation he can just blast this his way through just because he's Rocket Raccoon. I don't know what we will see in this arc, but it only looks like it will really add to the way we see him, helping him in the start of his journey as the planet native junk that she is tough, smart, and a hell of a battle partner, and based off her introduction, but also kind of let down in small way. I feel like this sort of things comes up a lot in sci-fi stories. There's a princess who seems submissive but is actually badass and fully capable. I can't speak too much to it as we have only seen a very small bit of her, but hopefully she does manage to be more than the trope. And Dredd continues on with art after last issue and has proved he is a very good match for this series. While it would be great if Young had stayed on art full time, and Dredd is really knocking it out of the park here. There are moments he captures perfectly where Rocket is boasting about himself, and you can see every inch of pride in every line on the page. So this has been a really quite a nice going for this series, and for this review also this is a 8 out of 10. So here also we do not they use like pros and cons. In the pros, this issue gets a different side of Rocket, great art from Dredd and Billu, and cons are hopefully Jink breaks the mold of similar characters. Let's see what the Comics The Gathering are saying about these things. They have given it 6 out of 10, and overall it's pretty much good. But once the book transitions into a more serious situation, Young's Rocket verges on the edge of knowing. His cross mouth and rudeness are key points to Rocket's characterization. When it comes to his humor and surface appearance, that's quite a bit different sometimes. But after 70 issues, that lack of depth can become pretty annoying. We know that Rocket masks his emotions under his foul mouth, but Rocket seems to go through the same emotions too often in this run. It's time we dug a little deeper into this character, so hope you guys have enjoyed it. This is Rocket Raccoon issue 7, and $4 is really worth it because you can spend $4 on this kind of issues and it's pretty much enjoyable. And I'm checking the screen also, not checking anyway. So that's it, and have a great day, and don't forget to leave the like button, hit the like button and smash it. Have a subscribe. Hello guys, this is Stevie and this is Scarlet Spiders issue number 3. Hope you guys will enjoy this one, and this has been the really start of a kick-ass issue, and the Spider-Verse big fight is coming to start. It's getting started almost, and this Scarlet Spider 3, Spider-Verse 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 13, that is all are in same tie-in. They all connected to each other, so hope you guys will enjoy. And the other videos also it's coming, and Spider-Verse 3 is the review is already there in my. I'm gonna put the link in my description of this video. And Amazing Spider-Man 30 review is coming very soon. So here we go with this Scarlet Spiders 3. Okay, a few pages already gone, and I'm left with some few pages for the review. So when I walk away from Spider-Verse, I will remember several distinct details. This is given by SuperiorSpiderTalk.com, Tony Goodwin. So the overall disappointment with the narrative structure and flow is almost inevitable and will probably stay with me for some time, particularly since this is an arc for which I had such high hopes initially. The editorial inability to figure out what the story actually was and consistently manage its various parts has put a damper on my enjoyment that will likely take a while to recover. But I will also walk away with my memory of Scarlet Spiders and how it ended its own arc in a satisfying way that made it one of the few bright spots in the Spider-Verse saga. My overall enjoyment of Spiders, that is Scarlet Spiders, has grown steadily during the run of the miniseries as the story built in such a way that made it separate from Spider-Verse while still managing to serve the plot of the larger narrative and prove itself a pivotal bit of storytelling in its own right. We have seen the story told with a different emphasis on each of the involved spiders and their quest to topple the that machinations of the mad inheritor Jennings and his cloning facilities has given readers an interesting glimpse into their characters as things have gotten progressively more complicated and the stakes have steadily risen. With this final installment, Mike Coster writes an action-packed emotional denouement that Paco Diaz illustrates in vivid, kinetic lines and is brought to life with Israel Silver's lively colors. That's the main goal. What can touches the, what should I say, that the fans hearts, and that is the thing which really cool. So henchman4hire.com is also given 5 out of 10. This is alright, okay kind of thing, but for me it should deserves a 7 out of 10 because it's good things are there, bad things are there, but overall this story, this miniseries, this issue is supporting the main story arc. That's the main final thing that we should support according to that. So Costa does an okay job setting up this Ben Reilly as his own unique character, a Spider-Man who never lost, and he guides the man through his sacrifice very well. But this is still just an issue where these three characters do little more than pound on a generic, uninteresting supervillain for a while before that sacrifice. This is a little development for Black Widow and Kane, but both characters are so removed from their comfort zone that they're nearly unrecognizable. Black Widow especially, I'll admit that I never followed her career in the Ultimates, but this simply isn't the Ultimate Spider-Man woman. I knew it's just a lady in badass Black Widow costume. The art is pretty great, at least Diaz's pencils are clear and detailed, capturing the action with superb skill. As it flies around the room, the characters look stark and bold, even Jennings. So that's the thing that makes the show fun. Whatever this is, the action, this is pretty cool. So hope you guys will like it about this, and so just to support the creators also and to enjoy these comics, you can buy this one in your own, and this price worth it. It's overall nothing more or less worth it. So I don't usually include covers as part of my reviews, but this is one instance where the cover contributed significantly to my enjoyment of this issue. So I'm back with the SuperiorSpiderTalk.com. So David Nakayama's image of 3 spider silhouettes does a masterful job of immediately establishing tension and setting the tone and pace for the story inside, while a general savvy reader shouldn't have much difficulty figuring out who the red silhouette is. I won't spoil it. It makes a little difference in terms of demonstrating that the stakes in this issue are high indeed, and that readers will be interested in the outcome of the story. Character moments were also very strong in this segment of the story. Costa demonstrates that deft understanding of these 3 protagonists and does an excellent job of giving them distinct personalities. So that's the cool thing, and moments are to shine during the final struggle with Jennings. Kane's surely to the point attitude may be relatively one note, but his struggle to retain his humanity during the battle and not given in to the other is as compelling as Ben Reilly's quippy snark and ability to provide distractions in a fight where their lives are in very real danger. So this is the end of this thing. So hope you guys have liked it and have a great day. What should I say? Should I finish with great things or should I finish with adios? Okay, here we are. Don't forget to leave a like, and if you enjoyed this video, Amazing Spider-Man 13 is coming soon. I'm gonna do it. So have a great day. Yes. Hello guys, this is Spider-Verse Team Up issue number 3. So the last issue number 2 was a really pretty much good hit, got a good hit in my channel, and it was a really fun to see that one, that it got really good success. So without just pushing other episodes or other issues aside, I'm just uploading first Spider-Verse Team Up issue number 3 for today. The way I'm uploading that the Black Widow issue, and it's getting uploaded. It is taking time. That's why in the meantime I thought, why don't you do the Spider-Verse Team Up issue 3 review? Here you go with Aunt May as a Spider-Woman. That's, what should I say, that Spider Granny or something. Anyway, so comic vine review, here we are by Corey and Deadpool. Before the final battle, there are a couple of loose ends left to tie up, Good things about this one, we get another two-part tale of Spider Totem side stories from the main group, only this time the stakes are much higher as the final battle against the Inheritors is about to kick off. Christos Gage gives us an update on what the outsider Kern has been up to, as well as what his role will be in the future of the event. We also get a glance into the lives of one of the stranger spider totems we have yet seen, and that is saying something. Dave Williams' pencils do well at making the characters look meaty and powerful, and when they are standing their ground it looks good. They exude authority or anti-authority in Spider-Punk's case, and it makes them look strong, though a large part of that visual language comes from Dexter Vine's distinct inks and the simplistically colorful palette of Chris Satomore that suits the world just fine. The second story doesn't actually go to any new dimensions as we check out Mayday Parker and the Spider Totem of the Nuclear Wasteland do some that filial bonding. Tom DeFalco and Ron Friends are credited with both writing and pencils, and they do a really great job showing May's growing frustration without developing into straight up teen angst. We also get a good look at how different this world's Spider Totem is from the one we know from every other universe, and it's actually interesting to see this take on him. So Saul Buscema is credited with finished art, which I am presuming means he did the inking and colors, both of which look fantastic. The colors are bold and sharp, setting a harsh tone for this surprisingly harsh story. The bad things about this one, the visuals in the first story that sometimes work, but for whatever actions needs to be portrayed, it comes off as overly stiff and especially overwritten. The pace of this action slows to a crawl as characters exclaim both exposition and their motivations apparently in between single punches, kicks and headbutts. The story feels like it would have worked better and been better for the artist's strengths if it had just been a standard conversation rather than a battle talk. Likewise, there is little to distinguish many of the characters involved in the story. We got some vaguely anti-authoritarian dialogue from Spider-Punk and some selfishness from Spider-Barton. But other than that, the characters feel interchangeable. The great thing about the last two issues was that they felt like they wouldn't have worked as well or would have been entirely different if they were other characters. Similar complaints could be leveled against the second story, as there's more action that isn't terribly necessary. It showcases Spider-Girl's unique talents well enough, but that could have been something to say for the actual Inheritor fight, and it creates an unnecessary battle against a silly opponent that's clearly meant to be taken seriously. It feels out of place. The verdict from this issue: this was a disappointing issue after two very strong ones, and part of that is for how needlessly chaotic it feels. I understand that there's a certain expectation of action for mainstream superhero books, and that this only had half as much space to tell their stories as a normal issue, but both stories feel rushed and only one feels truly relevant to the characters while the other feels relevant to the plot, but neither feel relevant to both. The arc winds up being uneven as a result, and the whole issue suffers for it. There are definitely some cool parts and some redeeming qualities, but compared to the last two issues, this one doesn't deliver. The stories in both are interesting, even worth picking up if you are as into Spider-Verse as I am, but the executions on both leave a lot to be that is desired. But sometimes it is different, sometimes it not. So the issue opens with a story written by Christos N. Gage. This review is given by AdventuresInPutes.com. So the art by Dave Williams is a bit simplistic, with some panels looking like recreations of Spider-Man, boasts more than fully drawn characters. The layouts work nicely to translate the numerous spider peeps and the battle taking place, though all in all serviceable but not astounding. The second story is written by Tom DeFalco and focusing on May Parker, and starts where the first story started as well. She's furious. She's let the Inheritors take her baby brother and storms off. The Uncle Ben of or 3145 follows her, and they discuss guilt and his not wanting to join the fight. Ultimately, the story is about her dealing with anger and emotions, and Ben dealing with that being a quitter. It serves as a way to give these characters a bit more humanity, but by no means is it important to the main event. The art by Ron Friends is very classic in a Steve Ditko sort of way. So hope you guys have enjoyed. This is the end of the Spider-Verse Team Up issue number 3. Hello guys, this is Spider-Woman issue number 3 review, and I am Steve. Yes, you love this guy, don't you? Anyway, I think you don't love me, so that's why you didn't put any questions, very few questions on my Q&A video. Anyway, here we go with this one. I'm a little bit upset. Don't bother, have a weekend, enjoy. Here we go. I'm just kidding with you guys. So Spider-Man issue number 3 is quite really good, because I really like the illustrations, and the figure of Spider-Woman is tremendous in few illustration. That was pretty cool and sexy. The books are really cool, and it feels me like I'm in there. I'm in the livelihood, or I'm live watching a movie. Anyway, so there's trouble afoot for more than one Spider-Woman, as Jessica Drew, Silk, and Spider-Gwen try to find each other and a way out of some deadly universes. This is comicbookresources.com review in Spider-Woman issue 3. Though most of the Spider-Verse developments here have already played out in other issues, Dennis Hopeless injects the plot with enough characters from Silk and Jessica to make this issue feel less like a rehash. However, Greg Land's art continues to be a problem, as Spider-Woman 3 offers the same mixed bag as its predecessors. In this issue, the plot around the inheritors ostensibly thickens, though those who have been following Spider-Verse in its other titles will already know most of what's revealed here. Still, Hopeless does a fine job with the publication schedule. He's been handed. Jessica Drew's inner dialogue is fun and fury. So in this one, what she just taken this scroll and teleported it to the Amazing Spider-Man. You guys will see this one in Amazing Spider-Man 13, and I'm gonna upload it really very soon, maybe tomorrow. It will take me to do the review, and I am just trying to make my own review on that one. So anyway, so Spider-Gwen is multi and worry, and Silk is hopeful and enterprising. What I most appreciated, though, as I so often do with Hopeless, was that he doesn't treat any characters as disposable. Jess's insufferable Loom World doppelganger not only gets an empathetic nod to her tough situation, but also shows her pirate captors how dangerous it can be when you underestimate Jessica Drew. Her very Jess-like resourcefulness was a nice touch. The story itself suffices, but the thin imagining and haphazard design of Loom World does make it difficult to immerse oneself in this world. It's meant to look like a composite world, an aesthetic that makes sense when the inhabitants can access anywhere in this multiverse, but that is conveyed sloppily. It does look like room is full of random pieces plucked from other universes, but not in an international effective way. Loom World itself aside, I still think Greg Land is the wrong artist for this book. His busty, sexualized figures often feel plastic and posed, and some of his viewpoint choices are baffling and uncomfortable. Why emphasize a character's legs when she's trying to avoid unwanted sexual advances? Spider-Gwen suffers perhaps the most, as the color scheme of her costume gives both Land and Inker J-List in some trouble, and her chest looks mishappen. The figure work also detracts from the fight scenes. When Jess punches her Loom World doppelganger, there is almost no force or vigor behind the movement. That said, Land's framing can be quite effective. I really liked his storytelling, while Silk creates her Webmaster suit as it draws out visceral details while still establishing clear perspective and forward plot motion. It's a well-assembled page, and that is Listen's sticker ranking on the outline of Silk's suit enhances it when Land isn't drawing figures or faces up close. His artwork is much less distracting and detracting. Spider-Woman is a functional, sometimes fun piece of Spider-Verse, but it doesn't rise too much more with a more appropriate artist for the tone and a script that's free to focus on Jess's own adventures. It it could grow into success. It's not there yet though, but it depends on many reviews. So SuperiorSpiderTalk.com has given this review a pretty good one, and they have given only 5 in average, but I really like it. Oh, what the hell, what sound is coming on? So anyway, another general concern that has occurred in all 3 issues, it's that issues of Spider-Woman is the timing in relation to the whole of Spider-Verse. While timing has been a bit off in the first 2 issues of this new series, Spider-Woman 3 is the most problematic. This issue ends with the words continues in Amazing Spider-Man 13, but readers should have already finished 13 before reading Spider-Woman. There may be a few readers out there who are not reading Amazing Spider-Man, but for the most part, Jessica's story is currently a continuation of what we have seen happen in Spider-Man's that continued version. So this story continued in Amazing Spider-Man 13. I'm gonna do this review. I'm gonna upload this review video very soon. Hope you guys will enjoy this one, and you should buy this book and support the creators because it's really nice. Sometimes it fails, these books are really great. Have a great day. Hello, how are you guys? So this is Steve, and I hope you guys will enjoy this one. This is the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 13. Actually, it's too much late. It's 1 week later. I was thinking about making some exclusive review about this one also, Spider-Verse tie-ins. This is the Amazing Spider-Man 13, and about that one also, the Wolverine 3. But I failed to do that this time. But from next time, I will do my exclusive review like the Superior Iron Man issue number 4, and that gone pretty much quite well. 300 hits in one night. That is pretty cool shit. Here we go with the Amazing Spider-Man 13. That's his review from Avengers in Protest, IGN, and Comic Vine as usual. So, IGN review, I'm gonna read it from Jesse Shadeen. So, this far into the story, it seems as though Dan Slott can slow down when it comes to setting up and referencing the various tie-in titles. That's not to say there aren't a few annoying cases of invasive editor captions and plot threads that pop in or drop out as this series intersects with the tie-ins. One major death from an ancillary book is just referenced in a very matter-of-fact way when it probably deserved more attention. There's another scene involving the Superior Spider-Man that also seems rushed, even though it doesn't connect to any tie-in book, but for the most part the script is more focused and streamlined than we have seen from recent chapters. Slott finds time for a number of his spider heroes to shine as they retreat to the relative safety of Earth 3145, that is 3145 Earth, and work to come up with a battle strategy. There's more focus on Peter as a leader and Otto as his foil here, which is always good fun. We also see an all-female team up as Spider-Gwen, Spider-Woman, and Silk take the fight to the Inheritors. Kane as also enjoys a really awesome moment that I am thankful wasn't relegated to the Scarlet Spiders book, and even the smaller characters get their due. Spider-Man India and Spider UK share very poignant moment as they reflect on the philosophical implications of being a Spider-Man, and if they are all just pale imitations of the real Peter Parker. So the humor is also dialed up a bit even as the story remains a very dark and bloody affair. But the ComicVine.com is given this review by Korean Deadpool. The good things, there was a lot of speculation as to what last issue's reveal would mean for the Spider-Verse, the general concept, not the event, and even Marvel Universe at large. And while those questions have yet to be answered and likely won't be until next issue, the development of the ruined Earth 3145 Spider Totem proceeded with Dan Slott's usual effective economy. In just 3 short pages, we'll learn the differences and their legion between this Spider Totem and the ones we are used to. Moreover, are made to care a surprising amount about them. We even get some insight into how the world came to be the way it is and what this totem feels his role in it was. But the real standout here is actually the Superior Spider-Man of 616. Otto is in rare form. not only connecting two critical dots but saving the day in one of the most unlikely ways for that character. It's great that even knowing his ultimate fate, Dan Slott isn't afraid to let him have the spotlight when it's called for. That's merely the highlight in what turns out to be a great character driven issue with a ton of small powerful moments. I have often been a fan of Giuseppe Camonco's pencil, but he is in rare form in this issue, giving us characters that look at times powerful, lead agile and intimidating, all at just the right time. So I hope you guys will enjoy this issue, and for those who didn't enjoy it till now, just go to the store and buy this book. This will help the creators and the developers, also the publishers, all everyone, that artists, that writers, and it will be more enjoyable when you just have the hard copy of the comic book and you are reading that one. So after that, I shouldn't tell, but here it is. Some bad things are there. This issue is all over the place in terms of storytelling, and it's understandable with all the various threads that need to come together, that things might get a little breakneck, but having Silk make as boneheaded a move as she does, even without having all the information, it felt like that it was needlessly upping the stakes. So for the few times I just pro and cons from adventuresinprotest.com is pros well paced story or great dialogue and compelling conversation, but cons are mostly a point A to point B issue. Spoils the Scarlet Spiders issue 3 issue badly. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and as I always told already, I have told it that to support the creators, just buy this book. And okay, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this show. Here it ends, the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 13. Have a great day. Hey guys, it's Dave, and this is the New 52 Features and issue number 37. And it's some questions are there, some that it's not yet answered, but first I'm gonna tell you the reviews from different websites. allcomic.com has given it 8.0, Weird Science 5.0, IGN it's terrific 4.6, Batman News 4.5, DC Comics News 4.0. That is really bad anyway. So from allcomic.com, this review is pretty much not good, not bad, or something I can say, but it is 4 out of 5. The review is good, but about this comic he has written maybe something good or something bad. Anyway, this is by Brian Azzarello. I won't Firestorm, unfortunately, since she doesn't seem to have an 800 number to call her to action. I have to create a situation that will draw her out of hiding. Dr. Polaris really needs to get his stress under control. He's just been so different since the accident, you know. This week's The New 52 Features in 37 gives us more action alongside a bit of humor as the release date of the Sphere draws ever closer. I want one. Among one of the bigger storylines as of late is the introduction of Dr. Polaris, which this issue touches on. The quota above is from the quote above is from Polaris. He's convinced the Justice League interfered with his attempts in creating a teleportation device, and since half of Firestorm was his lab assistant Jason, he's venting the majority of his anger onto the hero with multiple personalities. Writer Brian Azzarello, along with Jeff Lemire, Dan Zurgens, and Keith Giffen, also used this issue to remind us that the Sphere is coming, and it's not going to be pretty. The Batman Joker Abomination is a constant reminder of this. This week we are also given another look at what Terry McGinnis has been up to lately. Wait a minute, what were they doing on the roof? On the artwork side of this week's issue is penciler Aaron Lopresti, along with the inkers Art Thibert, Dan Green, and Wayne Forture, with colors being done by Hi-Fi. That is pretty cool, and that is pretty expensive kind of thing. But most of the ways, if we go for still the story, and on the stories, it's quite a good. And about this one, that up at just the Defense Station Omega, this is review from Weird Science Comics blog.blogspot.in. So Jason Rush is instructing Madison Payne on how to recreate Dr. Yamazaki's experiment that fused them together, and while they toil, Dr. Polaris is down in Metropolis calling Firestorm out. Don't worry though, they can continue the experiment because Stormguard and Superman Shazam are picking up her slack and taking on the Magnetic Maniac. After all, the wars are in place. Firestorm enters the chamber, but for whatever reason, the experiment doesn't work, and Firestorm is shot out of the machine. And to me, she looks kind of hurt. I wonder if they have tried yelling "Flame off" yet. Over in Las Vegas, we see that the giant vault that 50 Sioux conjured up is way too heavy to be sitting on top of a building, and it goes crashing down through the side and most likely killed a whole bunch of people. It's at this point where we find out that apparently the hit on 50 Sue is still on, because when she wasn't looking, Mercy went and touched her. That Mercy thing, she touches people and they die. I guess at first it looks like it didn't work, but then 50 Sue gets a little wobbly and falls. That is pretty bad for this one. Anyway, and then we head back over to New York, where Tim Drake has finally made his way back to his home, the Wounded Duck, where he finds the place in shambles. He's lost his girlfriend, Ronnie Raymond, and now this team's had enough. It's a good thing, too, because when he starts shouting at the world for everything that he's had to endure over the past couple weeks, it gets the attention of Batman Beyond, and that's something you don't want, or something who was lying naked with plastic and feeling those oh so good feelings of "I need more." So Batman Beyond flies down and apologies to Tim for destroying his place, but before we can have the awesome team up of Batman Beyond and Red Robin, Tim feels the need to punch Terry in the face. I really hope that they don't really start fighting, because down the street the Batman Joker monster has got them back in its sights. So that's it for this week's Futures End, and we are still dealing with the same problems as before, where we are just waiting for something to happen. Seriously, is Firestorm going to be able to separate? No. Is Frankenstein going to get healed? We don't know. But no, are Tim and Terry going to team up? No. It's just a lot of no's, and I'm looking for a great big yes. It's really frustrating when you realize that you're sitting back and yelling at a comic book to hurry up and do something. I'd like to say that the art this week was great from Aaron Lopersti, but that too wasn't as good as it's been, and I find that a shame, because I usually really like his work. Just not a lot going on here, even though, but it's been pretty cool. But I have enjoyed it, whether it's good or bad. So hope you guys have enjoyed it too, and if you want to enjoy it fully, just go to the store and buy the book and help the developers for developing. Hey guys, it's Steve. This is Wolverine session number 3. Here we go with amazing some things about this issue. And a few days back, it's 1 week late, and I'm sorry for that one. As I told you, in the Amazing Spider-Man 13 review show, I have already told why am I late. Anyway, so sorry for that. Anyway, we are going with issue number 3. Some spoiler corner is there. The thieving duo formulates a plot to steal the shirt off Punisher's back, making him imagine that it is on fire by way of some sort of illusion, which causes him to yank it off. So this is reviewed by adventuresimporters.com. That review is given by Jordan Richards, as usual, my favorite in adventuresimporters.com. My first favorite is comicvine.com, right now adventuresimporters.com. That is pretty much cool. And so I have to tell you that a few days back I got a request from Mark. Yes, Mark. He has just commented about this one, uploading this review also. So thanks for Mark, and it's a big shout out for him. Here we go with this one, him or her. Yes, I think it's him. Unfortunately, the trick doesn't work on him, and he catches the two in his hideout. After a fierce struggle, Culpepper manages to gang the red-colored Punisher shirt the Frank had during his stay with the Thunderbolts, and the duo quickly take off with the spoils. So, back in Spain, Fantomal meets up with her friends, an individual who knowingly buys stolen property with hopes to resell, not in that is not an actual barrier used to prevent entrance at her penthouse apartment, who she sells the shirt off to during the selling. Her boyfriend, someone from Weapon X, who escaped with her, comes to talk to her about her thieving. Once the fence leaves, the couple talk a bit about their lives, discussing their future options and possible alternatives, so that Fontamel doesn't need to keep on stealing. So these are things about the spoilers, what is coming. So thoughts for an introductory issue 2. A new character, Wolverine 3, does a fairly decent job of it. The issue established Fantomel's skills and how she walks, her personality and beliefs, and even some of her past. Sure, she feels a bit similar to Phantom X and all, but she is not bad and shows some potential depending on how the writers want to use her from here on out. So that's pretty much different thing. But so other than that, there's not much going on in the story outside of her introduction. The writing and artwork are both fine but flawed in areas. So and one more thing, during their conversation, a strange monster there named Siphon appears and attacks Phantomelle and her boyfriend. Wanting to steal their healing factors, her boyfriend steps up to fight, but the creature tosses him out the window to his death just before he can attack. Siphon's hands are blasted off by X-23, who has arrived with the rest of the gang. So the writing is pretty much great, strangely faded out in the areas and sometimes oversaturated with certain color. It is so. That's the thing. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Some pros and cons are there. Phantomelle and her pet fox are an interesting fan duo. Juon Doe's art is impressive. Cons are but overly blurry and faded looking for some reason. So overall 7.5 out of 10 overall score. Next is coming Battle Royale in Barcelona. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Wait for Battle Royale in Barcelona. And here it is, end of Wolverine issue number 3. Just leave a like if you enjoyed it.